Hi there, I'm Katie Wagner. Welcome to Social Media Help Desk. This is the time every week that we chat about what's going on in the world of social media. We're going to talk about the news this week, some developments that have happened, and then today we're going to have a chat about all things video, one of our favorite subjects. And I'm here with content editor Taylor.
Hello.
And our videographer Andrew.
Hello.
Fitting that we would pull him in for this chat. Andrew's also a photographer, but today he's got his videographer hat on. You got it?
It's invisible.
Yes. You ready? So first, let's get to some social media news, some things that have happened. And there's, it seems like every week there's news about Facebook. This week is no different. So Facebook has now launched a new app, and the app is called Messenger Broadcast. And basically what this app does is Facebook Messenger is one of the big things they're pushing right now. And when people message your page through Facebook Messenger, this app allows you to send automated replies to them. So it also allows you, let's say you're a cosmetics company. We have a client that's a cosmetics company that gets a lot of messages about, return policies or
questions
shipping.
about a specific product.
Questions about a specific product, right? One of their products. And what you can do now as a business owner is go through and tag all of those messages with like, okay, this one's about shipping, this one's about product X or whatever. And then you can send an automated reply to all of them at once, answering all of those questions. Mm-hmm. Is that the way you understand it?
Yeah. It's a really interesting new tool. It's basically going to let you put your audience into little buckets of frequently asked questions, and then you can automatically reply to all those people with the answer to that frequently asked question. So if you have a bunch of people asking about your return policy, you can put together a well-crafted message back to those people talking about the return policy and what they should do, and then you can send it to those people, and you can remember what the last thing they talked about was. So the content's going to be really relevant to the people that you're sending the message to, which is, I think, unique because most messenger bots or automatic messaging, that's the problem with them.
Yes.
Is someone's going to get a random message, there's going to be no context behind it. It seems like you were talking about one thing and now all of a sudden they sent you an automatic message saying, thanks for joining me. And you're like, I joined a month ago. Right. This is strange. And so I think it really solves that issue. But it also allows you to reach a wider amount of people. And then you can continue that conversation from there.
Well, I think also one of the good things is they say that they're going to put things into the app that prevent against spam. Because that's one of the things you always worry about is that people are going to use this to just spam anyone who's ever messaged.
Which is how a lot of people utilize those type of messenger bots already.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about messenger bots actually last week on Social Media Help Desk, so go look up that video if you want to see that chat. But spam is a concern there, right? Are they using it the right way? Is it really helpful, or do they get carried away with, ooh, look at all these people I can contact?
And Facebook, I think, is really trying to keep that in mind because they want to keep their tools as authentic as possible while still serving both the consumer and the users and also the advertisers and kind of keeping everyone happy here. Because if you lose one end, then you lose the other end. So you really have to make sure that everyone in the equation is happy.
Well, and it is a balance, right? I mean, we see them turn out things that help businesses promote, but things that keep businesses from promoting so people don't get too much of it, and they're really walking a fine line.
Balance.
Yeah. And then they say that they're going to have a paid version of this app as well. Would you pay for an app like that, Andrew?
Yeah, probably.
To be able to message people?
Yeah, well.
It's similar to email marketing tools. I'll pay extra money for my CRM or my email marketing tool to be able to reach the audience that I need to reach and be able to use those tools. So to a marketer, it's really valuable.
And I think actually one of the most interesting things is they just released Messenger ads. So ads that you can show in the Messenger stream to people. And now this is sort of hand in hand with that now you can respond back, and it's sort of like retargeting people, right? They've messaged you once, now you're going to retarget them by continuing the conversation.
Yeah. Facebook's really looking for a way to monetize these tools so that they can continue developing and making it better. That's one of the ways that they do that is they find a way to monetize this new messenger tool, and then as they gain more money from that, now they can tweak it, make it better, make it more user friendly for everyone. So that's kind of what they're doing with things like this and the new ads. Like I said, to kind of make everyone happy.
But can you really make everyone happy?
Well, debatable.
Yes, probably not. All right, let's move on to Pinterest.
All right.
Pinterest has done some interesting things with their boards. I know you're a Pinterester, Andrew.
I am.
Is that a word, Pinterester?
It is now.
There's a message on our blog, an article on our blog called "How to Pinterest Like a Man." Maybe you've read it.
Maybe.
Stephen wrote that blog post not too long ago. But Pinterest is always looking for ways to make their thing more user-friendly, right? And how we can move it around a little bit. And they've unveiled 3 things now: archiving, sorting, and subcategories. And that allows us, maybe you can help me explain, but it allows us to sort of reorder things within the board.
Yeah, essentially. The tools that they're rolling out here are really about the user experience and being able to categorize things that are important to you and then also to your followers. So they each do really unique things, but it's kind of taking what they already have and enhancing it just a little bit to fix some of the things that maybe people were frustrated with in the past. So the first one that I thought was the most interesting was the archiving button.
That's my favorite too. Yeah.
I think it's the most useful, and it's something that people were having some issues with since the beginning of Pinterest, and this is a really helpful tool. The best way that I thought about it, or one way that it would be applicable to me as a user, is when I'm talking about seasons. So, if I have a board for Halloween, what I can now do with this archiving tool is tell Facebook that not only do I not only do I want to put this board away for a little bit and I want to archive it, but I'm also telling Pinterest that I don't want to see suggested pins for this season anymore. Halloween's over. I'm not pinning about Halloween anymore, so those suggested pins that would come up in my feed, once I archive my Halloween board, it's got to put those asleep for a little bit.
I think that's helpful because we do market seasonality, there on our boards, but also let's say you're just a user and you have a wedding, so you have the wedding board, and then the wedding's over and I don't need to see wedding stuff anymore. So I think that is good for user experience. I also appreciate that they're going to let you reorder the pins inside the board now.
And that's one of the other tools that they're kind of unveiling here. So you can put, maybe for a marketing standpoint, you have your blog posts and you have them into this board, and you know what is most valuable or what you want the audience to know, maybe some newer articles. You can move them around within there so that people see the most important things at the top.
We have a Pinterest board with all our tip of the day videos. And sometimes, as social media changes, you want the newest information on the top. And so now it allows us to drag them all around in there. So that'll be good. Okay, so that's the archiving and the reordering. Sorting is about sorting the boards, right?
Yes.
You can reorder the boards on your profile.
Yeah, which is also helpful, kind of for the same reason. What's important to your audience, what's happening, what's more, reoccurring, what's current, so you can keep everything top of mind.
I kind of like to test it sometimes too, which spot gets the most attention on a profile, because I don't know that it's necessarily the top left, right? So sometimes we reorder them to see if we can get a little more attention there.
It really puts the power into the user's hands to be able to customize it to what works for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is what social media should be about, right? Okay, and then some news about Google. So Google has incorporated some new paid ads algorithms, we'll call them, some artificial intelligence there. First, you have to understand what Google AdSense is. So AdSense, different than AdWords, right? Not pay-per-click. AdSense is on your website or your YouTube channel. When you see those little tiny text ads, like people have chosen to monetize their channels, and now it shows little tiny text ads over their videos or in the margins of their website, and you get money from people who click on those. That's AdSense. But one of the crazy things about AdSense, and the reason I've never really participated, is that those ads sometimes don't have anything to do with what your website's about or what your video is about. They're just kind of random based on what advertiser is paying to put them up there, right?
Paying the most.
Right? But now they say they're going to make that different, right? They're going to, go ahead, yeah.
They're essentially going to make it so that they fit better with the theme of, either your YouTube channel or your blog, your website, your content. So you can feel a little bit more confident that these ads are going to fit with the branding of your website. And it gives you a little more insight to the ads that are going to be there, so you can feel better about putting them on your site. You still won't have too much control, so that, still be caution where you put these, but, it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable about doing it.
At least I know that the ads will be somewhat relevant to the people who are reading my content, because otherwise I feel like it's a turnoff.
It is. I think that, Google's seeing that, and it's seeing that from their users, so they want to make it better, and they want people to feel more confident about putting the ads on their site. So introducing an aspect and a tool like this, they're hoping to bring some, maybe some more advertisers on and some more users on.
Sure, I think we have a theme. It's all about user experience on all the channels.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get people to stick around, right? Platforms like Facebook, who have been around for years now, the reason that they've been able to keep this client base is because people like the way that the site works, and if they start changing things, that would make them nervous.
Yeah, it makes me nervous. This is our livelihood here, right? Marketing on Facebook. Yeah, and actually one more thing to note, on Google they say that this new AdSense program where they're tailoring a little bit more results in 10% higher clicks. Wow. So it's working, right?
And if that's something that they can, put out there and let people know that, why wouldn't you want to try it out?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's shift gates here and talk to video for a little while.
Yeah.
Talk about video. So first, we're going to answer a question from one of our friends here at the agency. This is from Sarah, who's one of our clients, and she says, "Why is video so important for social media?" So you hear a lot of hype about video, and I was saying to somebody, I was at a networking event, and I was saying to somebody, 2018 is the year of video, and they said, yeah. But haven't they been saying that for the past few years? Like every year is the year of video, right? Which to a certain extent is true, but I think this year is different. I think we're seeing a lot of things that are making video more important than ever right now. And so let's talk about those for Sarah. Let her hear the answer here.
Well, I think with the invention of like Snapchat and Periscope, bringing that video into social media so heavily where that's all it is. I mean, on Snapchat, that's all it is video.
Right.
It's more personalized video, but that's ushered in this whole new way of connecting with brands and companies via the internet. And I mean, I think if you look at the whole internet as a whole, 2/3 of it is streamed video.
Yeah, we talked about that in our team meeting this
that's
morning.
massive.
It's insane. Just when you think of all the things you do on the internet all day, the fact that so much of that is being taken up by video. And when you start to think about that, you'll notice, I think, you'll notice the video that you come across. After we had talked about that, and then just from sitting down for a couple of minutes as I'm scrolling through, you start to notice how much video there really is. And you can't escape it. It's everywhere.
Well, it's true. It's not only in your Facebook feed, but it's on websites you're visiting now. And the live streaming is all about Hulu and Netflix and, the way people watch TV now.
Well, and even crazier, they predict by 2020 that it will be 85% worth of the internet. Wow. Which is like that's almost all of it.
Well, but I do believe it because Mark Zuckerberg has been public about saying that by in 5 years, he thinks Facebook will be entirely video.
Well, I mean, that's the reason he's pushing Facebook Live so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing else on Facebook. When you go live on Facebook, it notifies all of the people that's following your page.
Yeah.
So you don't have to beat the algorithm on it, which is really crazy.
Right.
So he's really pushing for it.
He's pushing, so you're welcome, Mark Zuckerberg. We are taking advantage of Facebook Live. But I think you've hit on one of the answers to Sarah's question. Why is it so important? Because every social media algorithm is prioritizing video, especially Facebook says if you have video content or especially live video content, we will put that at the top of the newsfeed and alert all of your connections. So whereas if you're posting articles or posts, pictures, sometimes it's hard to get as much reach as you used to, right? We've talked about all those algorithm changes. But now video is still getting a fair amount of reach, and live video is huge.
Yeah.
But I think that marketers and business owners can really use that to their advantage.
Absolutely.
If they know they have a new product launching or a new event coming up that is really important, they want to share it with the most amount of people as possible, make a plan, put a plan together to have it go live on Facebook Live, because that's what the channels want to see. That's what they're prioritizing. So use that to your advantage. And whenever something really important is coming up, always plan to have that on Facebook Live.
Well, Facebook Live is just blowing up. The MLB was actually talking about streaming all of the games on Facebook Live.
Major League Baseball?
That's correct.
I believe that Olympics too.
The
Olympics
did it.
Took a huge advantage.
I mean, we just watched SpaceX blow a bunch of rockets in the sky, and they put it on Facebook, and we all got to watch it. There was thousands of views.
And what I actually like about Facebook Live is it's not just watching it, you can interact with it.
Oh, absolutely.
You can write in real time, and if you all write comments on this video, we will see them and be monitoring it.
Well, that goes to one of my points for making Facebook Live such a big part of your business is because human beings crave that human connection, right? And I think Facebook Live really helps you facilitate that and make that connection. Because you can interact with the people. People can comment on the video, and you can respond to them. They can ask you questions, and it can alter the whole video, which is great. People love that authenticity.
Absolutely. But I think actually that's true of video as a whole, not just live video, right? Because we always talk about that know, like, and trust factor. Like if I read an article by Taylor, I know she's smart. She probably knows what she's talking about. But if I see Taylor talk about a video or in a video, now I know what Taylor looks like. I hear her voice. I get her mannerisms. I feel like I know Taylor a lot better.
It instills confidence in any industry. If if you own a business where you're trying to sell a certain product, getting in front of the camera and really showing off how that product works and instilling that trust in the user, they're going to be so much more inclined to purchase it or contact you to do business with you because they see it in front of them. That means so much.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about it. Product demos. That would be huge on video. What else could we do on video?
Well, I think in that kind of same vein, as millennials, if I buy a product and the product is not working,
are you outing yourself as a millennial?
I'm like half a millennial.
Okay.
I'm kind of old school
like
sometimes.
A borderline.
That's what all millennials say.
Yeah, it is actually. Nobody
Pretty
ever
much.
admits they're a full millennial.
But if I have a product that I bought and it's not working and I want to fix it, I'm obviously not going to take it to the store.
Oh,
I'm going to go onto Google, onto YouTube, and watch a video and see how to fix it. I can't tell you how many times that's saved my life.
And having that right, say that company has that right on their website or right on their YouTube channel. Think of how many people they're going to make a lot more happy than someone who has to, call a service number and try to figure out how to fix it. Having that readily available, they're going to be so much happier and more likely to do business with you in the future.
Yeah.
Well, and there's studies that come out that say this is how people like to have their questions answered, right? They'd rather find out on social media or be able to look up a tutorial and watch it rather than, what's the old-fashioned way, the 800 number, or you write a support email.
Yeah. Read the manual.
Right?
Silly.
Manual. Yeah. Who was saying at our team meeting today? Maybe Angie was saying, "Oh, I could just figure out how to fix the dishwasher on YouTube. I can throw out that packet that the instructions."
I literally have
come
done
with.
that.
That's if you've kept them that long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, these days there's no need to.
Right.
All right. So Facebook Live is big. Let's talk about how to do it well. Like, what kinds of thought processes and steps need to come in here? First, you shouldn't wing it on Facebook Live, right? There's a lot of planning that goes into a good live.
Yes.
What kinds of things should you be planning out before you get on there?
I don't think you necessarily have to script everything, but you should have a roadmap of some sort. Like, hey, here's the points we're going to talk about, and then let the process dictate the cadence of the video. I think just having some points that you want to talk about is really helpful.
Sure. I mean, we have notes here in front of us. We didn't write a script, but we know what our topics are.
Yeah.
And people always ask me about, should I just turn the camera on and do a selfie video? Sure, if you're really good at that, but it's also really easy to do bad live video, right?
Yes,
you have to be really careful with it.
You do.
It's a powerful tool.
It is. Well, and it affects your credibility, right? I mean, that's your face and your, I mean, like we said, they get to know you well, and so if they're not knowing the best parts of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of my tips for Facebook Live is gear, actually.
Oh, talk about that.
You can technically stream Facebook Live on your smartphone, and it works just fine.
Sure.
But in my opinion, people see you based off of quality. The quality really dictates who you are as a company. So if you want to invest in a nicer camera and hook it up to your computer, you totally can. And I think it really improves it, and it gives your brand a bigger feel.
Why didn't we think of that?
I know, we should have.
Talk a little bit about the gear we're actually using here. Tell people what they would need if they want to put together a little kit.
Yeah, I mean, so right now we're just using a DSLR camera, and it's actually connected to an iMac.
No.
And we're using a free software that we found on the internet called OBS.
You can find anything.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And it actually lets you create a little show. We have the pre-slide and the end slide, and that allows you to do everything. So it's pretty easy and simple, and it's a big effect.
Yeah. Well, one of the most important parts of video, we all know this, is audio,
Yes.
actually. I believe that people will watch slightly grainy video that's really clear and easy to understand, but if you've got a perfect picture and I can't understand you, there's no way you're holding my attention.
No.
Are there mics that I could get on Amazon or something?
Yeah, there's lots of different mics you get. Right now we have a Rode mic, which is a shotgun mic sitting on top of our camera. They also make mics specifically for Facebook Live or podcasting.
Oh.
And they're like little table mics that you can put right here, and it kind of picks up the whole table. You can do lav mics. Obviously, certain things will obviously make your production a little bit more intense, but it also sound really good. So there's so many different avenues you can go down.
Andrew, if I was a business owner and wanted to put together a little kit for setting up my Facebook Live, how much baseline am I going to have to spend to do this? Is it thousands of dollars? Is it hundreds of dollars?
It's under $1,000 for a very good setup.
Okay.
Under $500 for a pretty good setup. So there's so many different price points that you can get into. I personally don't think that there's a reason you should be using your iPhone.
He might be a snob about that.
I might be a little bit of a snob.
We can talk about that
guy.
later. Yeah. If they use their iPhones, you're out of a job. So I
That's
see where
also
this is going. Yeah. All right. So you want to plan it. You want to have the right gear.
Yes.
You want to figure out how you're going to set it up.
Yep.
And if you, my tip is if you're having a recurring show like we're attempting here, make it look the same every week. Like we've taped out on the floor where the camera goes and where we sit and how the desk is set up.
Yep.
And I think the more thought you put into what the final product looks like, the better it's going to turn out. And also the less stressful it is for us, right? We sit down, we do our thing. But the other part that's stressful is what if nobody watches, right?
Yeah.
How are we going to get people to look at it? And so that means you can't just wing it. You have to let people know it's coming.
Yeah.
Let's talk about promoting this
Give
thing.
your audience a heads up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't expect them to show up if they don't know what's happening.
And keeping it consistent. You know,
Right.
our audience knows that we live stream at the same time on every Tuesday, and having that consistency there, they know when they need to tune in, and that's helping us grow an audience.
Yep.
And I think that can be applied to anyone.
Absolutely. I'd like to think they're all setting the alarm at their desk, right?
They are.
Google a little lunch
Sure
and
they are.
Facebook
That's
or
right.
a social media help desk.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other ways that you can do it to give them a heads up. And for us, we created a nice flyer that kind of represents what we're going to be doing on the show.
We did.
And we plastered it all over the place.
Very true.
And I think that's a really helpful thing so that when people come to your Facebook page that they can see, oh, hey, look, they have like a little show going on. Let's watch it and check it out.
Yeah. Not a little show. This is a big show.
Well, this is a
big
big
show
show,
we're
yes.
doing. Well, yeah. Let's talk about the ways we promote ours. We have a cover photo on our social media, not just on our Facebook, but on our Twitter and our YouTube. We make graphics to promote the show that go up a few days before the show happens, and then they come down a few days after. We did make the flyer. You could run ads to promote your Facebook Live. If you had a big event coming up, you could run promotions or ads that way to get people there. You should be posting about it, a few days or a week
Letting
ahead
your
of
friends
time.
and colleagues know.
Yeah. If you have an email list, send an email blast saying tune in at this time. But even just working it into your normal content, right? And letting people know it's coming up again on Tuesday.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. I think another point that I would say that if you are going to use your iPhone, make sure that your iPhone's charged. It's such a practical tip, but I mean,
Probably the
I'm
biggest
probably
tip.
guilty of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure your iPhone is charged because there's nothing bad about getting good content out there than your phone just dying halfway through it.
Yeah.
There's nothing as bad as that.
Bad.
Yes.
Or, getting a message while you're streaming your Facebook
Ding.
Live. So
Right.
throwing on that airplane mode is huge.
Well, and something I've learned the hard way, because I messed it up actually for one of your clients, was that if you don't have a good Wi-Fi signal, like your Facebook Live can be shot,
Yes.
right? If it drops out while you're live streaming,
Yeah.
it's all over for you.
And that has to do with being prepared, knowing
Right.
where you're going to be doing this setup, being prepared in advance, checking out things like a charger and the Wi-Fi, and really being prepared and not winging it. Doing those steps beforehand will prepare you to have a successful show.
And in a lot of
Yeah.
cases, it's actually better just to turn your Wi-Fi off and just stream.
That's what I was going to say. I
Yeah.
should have done that.
Yeah, a lot of times that's honestly better.
Yeah. Testing it. I mean, you'll never know until you figure it out ahead of time.
Yeah. And the thing I like about Facebook Live is, let's say you test for a few seconds, you figure out if you have a connection, you can then delete that video.
Yeah.
People think it's there forever. It's not.
Yeah.
Once a Facebook Live is over, it becomes a video on your page, which is good because people can go back and rewatch this video weeks or days afterwards. But also, if you embarrassed yourself and it just wasn't good, take it down.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not there forever.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless someone's screenshotting it at home, but you'd have to have some pretty hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about what we should be talking about in live streams, because I think it's important to be valuable, right? To have
Yeah.
something to say. Sometimes I see clients of ours that want to go live just for the sake of going live. There are certain industries this is prevalent in, so we won't call them by name. It's realtors, but they mostly just go live and be like, "Hey, I'm out and about doing my thing," and then they run out of things to talk about.
Yeah, and it's super awkward.
Right? It's number one, it's super awkward, but number two, it's not an effective live stream.
No.
Because you have to live stream for a certain amount of time so Facebook can alert people and they can get on
Yes.
board. Right? A 2-minute live stream isn't that effective.
No, it's essentially just a video that happened to be live for 2 minutes.
I mean,
Right.
2 minutes, people won't even see that.
Yeah.
Right. They might watch the video afterwards.
Oh,
to
they'll
Taylor's
watch it
point,
afterwards, but if during live.
but there's no point in being live.
Yeah, it's not any more efficient than doing a normal video.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the rule of thumb is we like to think you live stream for at least 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All the way up to, you could go for an hour, hour and a half, I think. I
Yeah,
think
as long as
90
you're prepared
minutes.
to talk that long and having everything prepared ahead of time.
Yeah, I think 90 minutes is the cutoff on Facebook Live, but 10 or 20 should be sort of your threshold. It's
Yeah.
not worth going live unless you can keep it going.
Yeah, I think during your broadcast, value is such a big thing.
Absolutely.
People relate to stories and they relate to the way that you talk about your brand, and filling your time with that is super valuable. about.
Right.
And I don't think that I think that it's something that you really need to strive for, because if you're not doing it, then it seems kind of wonky and people won't connect as much with it because they're not really getting anything out of it.
It's also a credibility piece.
Yeah.
You know, you want to know that, or you want your viewers to know that you have your stuff together, you know what you're talking about, and you have something to say, right? It's thought leadership to a certain extent.
I mean, if you own a company or you work for a company or even if you have a hobby, then you have knowledge about something that others might not.
Yeah.
And so that's so valuable, and I think that's maybe something that people don't think about. But what you do in your free time or what that hobby is, if you're, you know, confident enough about talking about it, you can really teach someone something. And there's so much value in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, another thing, because we're talking about giving value and people can interact with the video if you're live streaming, I think it's important to have somebody watching those things, right? Monitoring.
Yes.
Are people commenting? And
Yeah.
if they are, we should write back to them or at least answer them on the air.
Yeah, definitely.
So think about having a crew, right? It's not just the person going live, but maybe you need somebody else monitoring the comments, or maybe you need somebody holding the camera or the iPhone.
That's usually me.
Or the Samsung. Samsung is okay.
Or someone to talk to on your live stream.
Yes, or someone to talk to on your
That
live
helps,
stream.
yeah.
I tell you what, if I was up here alone, it would be a lot more
Yeah.
awkward to watch. Yeah, me pontificating about social media. But having these guys, like, this is fun, right?
Yeah, I love
Don't
it.
say otherwise. Okay.
No, I
No,
love
it's
it.
good. Yeah, it's good. We're having a really nice time. All right, so what have we not covered here? Unique content, connecting. We've hit all our major points. I think your homework before we do this again next week is try a live stream, right? It's not as scary as you think it is, and you can delete it if it turns out badly,
Yeah.
right?
I would say, just kind of as a summary, I mean, Facebook Live, it creates unique content, it creates a connection with your audience, and it creates more traffic. I feel like those are three pretty big things
That's a
to
win-win-win.
persuade someone
Yeah.
to start doing Facebook Live. So if you're not doing Facebook Live, I don't know what you're waiting for.
Well, that's good, but like also let's summarize video, because if you're not quite ready for live, maybe you have butterflies in your stomach, shoot some video.
Yeah.
Video helps you connect with your audience. It builds that know, like, and trust. It's prioritized in social media algorithms, so it gets seen by more people.
Helps you
And
tell your story.
helps you tell your story, and it's known to be the preferred method that people like to consume information.
Definitely.
You know, we see video everywhere. That's the other part of your homework. Count how many videos you see today in your normal online life.
You're going to lose track after the
It's a
first
lot.
half of the day. I
It's
think.
so
I get
nice.
sucked into it personally.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you better get back to work.
I know, I gotta go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, you guys. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 12:30 to do it all again. In the meantime, if you need any social media tips, advice, or any help, you can always email us. It's tips@katywagnersocialmedia.com. Or we have a great blog on our website where we post every day, and we have a whole playlist full of video tips on our YouTube channel. It's called, what are those called? Tip of the Day. That's ingenious. Tip of the Day videos, so you can check them out there. As always, please like our Facebook page so you can see us more often, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and keep in touch. Thanks. See you next week.